In this lesson, we're going to talk about the short stick. So this is the first weapon that you're going to be learning as part of the curriculum here, yellow belt level now. So we introduce our first weapon. Again, this is part of the Hapki-Do curriculum because Taekwondo does not have any weapons training. So all the weapons training that we get is coming from Hapki-Do. So the short stick is about 1 foot long, 1 inch or maybe a little bit more in diameter, whatever's comfortable for you to grip. The cord on the end is optional, so you don't need to have a cord to be able to use the short stick. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. If you'd like to get a cord, all I did was I purchased a wooden dowel. You can go down to your local hardware store, buy a wooden dowel, cut it to length. You can drill a hole in the side with a regular hand drill, and this is just a length of paracord. If you're interested, I can show you how to tie the knot at the end. That is a non-slip knot, so it won't come loose. The cord has to be made so that it is the correct length for your hand. So this is by design. When you're using it, if you have a cord, you put it around your thumb just like this, and you circle it around and let it come over top of your hand just like this, and you can see that it falls perfectly into my hand. So it has to be made the right length for your hand if you're going to use the cord. So I recommend if you're first starting out, don't worry about the cord. You can just use the weapon without it, but later on, learning to use it with a cord will help. It adds more snap onto the strikes. So, gripping the short stick, we're going to use the first 2 fingers to do the majority of the gripping, and the other fingers are just kind of along for the ride, so to speak. So you're not gripping it tight with all 4 fingers. You're gripping it with the first 2 fingers and the thumb, and the other 2 fingers are just loose, right? You want it to be able to move around in your hand. You have to be able to snap the short stick when you're using it, because when we attack, we flick it out. Everything is a snapping motion. It's not like a heavy clubbing blow. We're not swinging it like it's a baseball bat. We're not drawing it through the target as if it was a knife or a sword. We're hitting to the target and pulling back whenever we attack. It's always a snapping, flicking motion for the attacks. And then the blocks are pushing motions. You should be grabbing almost 1/3 of the way up the short stick where your fingers are, so that there's a portion of the short stick that sticks out the bottom, like this, okay? And there are a number of wrist exercises that you can do to condition the hand, moving side to side, up and down, circling with the short stick. You need to build this up and start building up wrist strength to be able to use this weapon effectively. So, from here, okay, some of the most common attacks that we're going to be doing, there are many, many different attacks, so we're not going to be able to cover them all in this video, but the most common ones, okay, striking straight downward. So, coming down and then snap at the end of the strike. So you come down and strike like this. Attacking either the top of the head with this, or you can attack, for example, the collarbone. You could attack the bridge of the nose of your opponent. This weapon is remarkably effective against sensitive targets. So bony parts of the body, places where there are nerves and so on, you can do a lot of damage. So for example, no matter how many weights you lift, your wrists never never get bigger. They never get protected. So attacking the wrist is very damaging with a short stick. Attacking the top of the hand. This is always a sensitive area here. This is always a sensitive area. The temple, right? Anywhere where it is just bone with nothing on top, no meat to protect it. Those are all very sensitive areas of the body, and those are places that we target with the short stick. So, striking straight down on top of your opponent, right? Straight down and snap it, right? You should be able to hit multiple times with this, right? You're not hitting and drawing through. Hit to the target and retract, right? Coming in 45 and downward, striking to the neck. You can also turn this one over and strike to the temple very easily. So here, striking to the temple, bringing it down and striking here, the carotid arteries on the side of the neck. Right, looking at that from the side. So, bringing it down. This is full motion here on this. Down like this, 45. Or a little bit more into the side if you want to strike the side of somebody's head. Okay? That's inward strike. We have outward strike, the opposite side. So inward, outward. And again, you can turn it over and hit to the temple with this. So coming downward, we're targeting in here, the neck again. You can also use these to strike again with the collarbone. So here's inward, outward. All right, and going a little bit more sideways if we want to strike the temple. We have front thrust, where we step in and strike, where you could attack the groin, you can attack the solar plexus, the throat, the face, depending on what level you want to use. Front thrust, squeeze tight with all four fingers and push in. So whatever level you're going, that is single hand front thrust. So single hand front thrust, just like this. We can also attack to the legs, so a low inward strike coming down and in, again targeting the knees. We can do that on the other side with outward, striking down, once again, targeting the knee. So looking at that from the side, whether you go inward, whether you go outward. That's another commonly used strike. We have inward and down. So this way, striking. So from here, bringing the weapon over and down. And again, this is kind of a cross between a strike and a block. You can imagine if somebody is in a guard and they have that hand sticking out. This here attacks the top of the hand, top of the wrist, top of the arm, inward and down. And then the opposite of that, we have outward and down. So again, somebody's arm is here like this. We're going to come around and go this way. Okay, so outward and down. Looking at that from the side, inward and down, and outward and down. Okay? And there are more strikes. You can do two-handed front thrust, like this, usually targeting the neck with this attack. So, just like this. Again, short and sweet. And we'll get into more attacks that you can do with the weapon later. There are many. You can, of course, attack with the butt end, right? Going to the collarbone, going to the temple. All the attacks that I just showed previously, you can do most of those with the butt end of the stick as well. And you can use the top end of the short stick to attack. So coming in, you could attack to the side ribs. You could attack to the temple. And again, looking from the side, right? Coming in this way, opposite side. These are all valid attacks with the short stick. So there are numerous attacks. We're only going to be using a subset of them for our patterns, but till the next lesson.